Hi, this is a new episode of Podcast Stuff and Such, and the first time I'm trying out with a picture. I'm not that good at looking at the camera that consistently. That's kind of feels more weird than to look at the picture. So I try to manage that, but I tried it out, and yeah, I wanted to talk about. I had this idea of um, like one topic, one lesson I learned in my life, and with and then with a combination of a story to that. And that would be kind of the idea, and now I'm trying it out. So I thought about what would be the first topic I wanted to talk about, and I'm not sure because I think there's lessons I'm not want to share, which is makes sense. Like some stuff is just something you keep to yourself, but yeah. And then I thought about something that I want to share, and I kind of find it is a good lesson, but it was not a really deep lesson, but it is a good lesson, I think. And the topic is be precise with your words. And I mean by that sometimes in the heat of an argument or in a situation, or sometimes you don't even understand the words, um, you will there will be miscommunication of that because of that, and sometimes you get in trouble because of that because you never meant it that way, but the person just hear that word and they associate this um, like comment with that or this negativity or whatever, and you go into a big fight because of that. So this is not something you always can control, but it's pretty good to look up definitions of words if you use them more often. Um, Sometimes I use words just from my feeling that they fit, and sometimes people say they mean something totally different. But most of the time, it's not in a harmful way, so it doesn't matter. But when it is something like an argument or something, you should be precise with the word you choose. Because if you say something more vague, then the person will take more of this than it was. Your insult or your critique was more specific and not meant they're all shitty person, just this one part. And it's also pretty useful if you have somebody who is like manipulative because they will listen to every word you say and they will twist it, the words you say. So if you're specific, you have a better chance to win that argument. But my story was from school where I learned this lesson, and I would say it was like sixth, seventh grade. I think about that. I think should be kind of right. And I was in sixth, seventh grade, and I was like, we had. I'm not sure if every school had this, but we had pretty early. We had like a cafeteria. So like sixth, seventh. So because we has two campuses, so one for the higher classes, which had really like a cafeteria, but the other one had like um, yeah, more basically one food, which this one food which was served that day, and like maybe that's more normal then. But anyway, so I was in sixth, seventh grade, I think, maybe even fifth grade. I'm not sure. At least I was in one of the lower classes, and I was talking to that girl at 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 lunch, and she was nice, and I enjoyed the time with her. And I was telling after like I don't know the conversation exactly how we got to the topic, but somebody asked me probably something if I find somebody I don't know interesting or something, and I just said yeah, I like her, she's cool. And the person next day, this girl didn't want to talk with me, And at that time, I was not really confident to go to her and ask what happened. I was just like, okay, okay, then I will not talk to you anymore. On her part, I think it was also pretty weak because she could have talked with me, and because she thought, because I told a friend that I like this person, and for me, this was at that time, it was saying she's a cool person. I like her, not in a romantic way, because I was only talking with her like one lunch or second lunch or something. It was not, so it was really early to say something like I really like her. So, but for many people, that is what they say. If you are a boy to a girl, then it already means you are romantically interested in that person. And I think this is kind of what happened. So this person I talked with this about um, said this to her, that I like her, and she was like, well, that's, what is this guy, like, this is like, we talked like 2 times and he already says he likes me, like, that is pretty, like, what is this guy? And she wouldn't talk with me after that. So I think it's also weak from her part, but like, we all developed and all grow, that she didn't talk with me about this, and I was weak for not going to her and just asking what's wrong. So, but for me, that was like the lesson, to be specific and know what the words mean, and for and also when these words were used more than just the definition of it. So that was like really growing lesson for me. And I had some things. I had like one always like because I didn't know what this really means, that phrase. I was just making like stupid answers to that, because I just wouldn't not tell people that I don't know what this means. And I should have just asked them, what does this mean? I'm not sure about this. It was not like a person who was important to me, but it kind of got more into like, he found it funny to ask me that. So because I would always say some stupid things to that question. So yeah, and maybe I would have gone along with this person a little bit better. Not the girl, like a different person. I'm talking more about the general. If I just had asked, what does this mean? I don't know it. I don't know the meaning of it. What do you mean by that? So instead, I gave stupid answers. Yeah. So it was kind of basically it. So I'm just trying to look if I find more stories, but they're the two big ones, I think, that really brought this lesson home for me. Yeah, so I know this is so like so strict with it, but I think it's just like important to know what words mean and which context they're used, and be precise with that when it matters. If you're just talking with somebody, it doesn't matter that much, because you can say something wrong, you can stumble over your sentences, you can hi, this is the second part. I think in movie it would be called a continuity error, so like, this is not right after the call ended, so I got a call. So yeah, this is the second part of it. Well, thinking about it, this also contained another lesson for me, which is a really important lesson, but sometimes you get a package deal. So the other lesson I learned from this is, be sure what you tell who. This person didn't mean any harm, but it was also a person who was really interested in coupling people together. So it was kind of chance was pretty high that he would do that. So because it was like, there were always some people in class who would do that. So it was not really smart for me to tell exactly that person that, because yeah, they would be interested in bringing people together. Yeah, so I know this is a really really bored or strict way to see it, but I think it's important to know the meanings of words, what they mean, in which context they're used, more so in which context they're used. Yeah, like I said, in conversation it doesn't matter that much. It doesn't make something bad. It just matters in situations that are like an argument, or like something like this. If you say something in to one person, you trust, and you should be aware how you phrase it. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically for me. So this was one lesson I learned, and yeah, that's kind of the idea of this. Bye for now.